Hey, welcome to World Entertainment. And the war between Paramount and Netflix for control of Warner Brothers Discovery has only begun, because the battle lines have now been drawn as Paramount have done the very thing they said they would do. They've launched Plan B, which was to go direct to the shareholders. And this will look very, very bad for David Zaslav and the chief board of Warner Brothers, because Paramount have come in with a new bid. The bid, in fact, though, is the same bid they gave before. However, they've handed it directly to the shareholders. And when the shareholders see this and see the numbers, questions will be raised. But Warner Brothers have officially made a statement declaring that yes, this deal with Netflix may not actually be done the way it has been said it absolutely is. And things are getting crazy. We're hearing promises from Paramount about the release window, and when you hear Netflix's idea for a release window, holy hell, is it terrible. But what are we seeing happening right now? Well, of course, Paramount have said all along that they would be going directly to the shareholders. Now, as we know, Zaslav wanted $30 per share for Warner Brothers. Skydance, aka Paramount, came in and offered them the $30 per share in a full cash offer, whereas Warner Brothers ended up accepting the Netflix deal, which was $28 per share, and only half of that was paid in money. Now, here's the thing with the offer from Paramount, the whole offer. Number one, it's massively larger than the Netflix deal, but it's for everything. The Netflix deal only wants part of Warner Brothers. It doesn't want the TV end of things, not the HBO and stuff, the likes of the CNN end of things and that type of stuff. Pretty much your terrestrial television, other parts. They don't want that. Paramount wants the whole thing. And if the deal with Netflix was to go through, Warner Brothers would still be going through the split. So obviously the studio and stuff would go to Netflix, but the likes of Discovery and stuff would stay off. So why has Zaslav accepted a lower offer than what Paramount are offering? Well, it looks like him and the board of directors were getting a better incentive from Netflix. But in them getting the better incentive, it means the shareholders would be losing out and getting screwed over. But let's look at this part where the headline is Warner Brothers responds to Paramount's hostile takeover bid, sets deadline for official response. Now, the official response isn't them turning around and actually coming out with a statement, because they've just done that. It's about what happens next. So, earlier today, on December 8th, Paramount Skydance's hostile takeover bid rocked the entire industry following streamer giant Netflix's bid last week for Warner Brothers Discovery. Two industry giants are battling it out to acquire another giant, but Warner Brothers still hasn't decided. That part is incredibly important with all of this. When we've been told the deal is in place, they've accepted the offer. This is what I've been saying. A sale agreed is not set in concrete that you are selling to that person. I've explained this. I had a guy jump into my comments and start saying, oh, because you're not American, I'll explain this to you. And he thinks it's an absolute done deal and only the US government have any say in it. That's not the case. He couldn't be more wrong. But Netflix's deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, by the way, this all proves how wrong he is. Netflix's deal with Warner Brothers Discovery to buy Warner Brothers studio operations, HBO and HBO Max, for an enterprise value of $82.7 billion was announced last week. But Paramount hasn't remained quiet about its dislike for the current negotiations. The Warner Brother board released a statement after Paramount's shocking bid. Now, the bid is $102 point something billion. So that's the offer they've come back with. Now, again, that offer is the exact offer they put in a month ago or something. The difference with it is it has it has the per share price that Netflix and the shareholders wanted, which was the 30. It's for everything, and it's complete cash. So it's 100% like cash offer. So this is the statement released from Warner Brothers in response to this. The Warner Brothers Discovery Board of Directors, so that's important to note, consistent with its fiduciary duties and its consultation with its independent financial and legal advisors, will carefully review and consider Paramount Skydance's offer in accordance with the terms of Warner Bros. Discovery's agreement with Netflix. Warner Bros. Discovery intends to advise its stockholders of the board's recommendation regarding Paramount Skydance's tender offer within 10 business days. Now, why is the board the important part of that? It's because the board are the ones who are getting the better end of the worst deal, i.e. they are getting add-ons for themselves, while the shareholders will only be getting their, well, here's the $28 per share, that won't be in all cash and stuff like that, and then the release of the movie slates will destroy those shares for them, but they get to have the big paydays. That's what you're hearing there. When they're talking about they're going to bring it directly to the shareholders, that's them going to go in and probably try and, say to them, look, we feel that the offer from Netflix is better, even though the shareholders will be looking on, but hang on, you accepted $82 billion when they offered $100 billion. You accepted a deal of $28 per share when Paramount were offering $30 per share. So why are you going with the lesser offer? And then they would probably have to get exposed by saying, well, Zaslav is getting a better deal. And don't forget, one of the offers from Paramount was to keep Zaslav in place as CEO of the whole thing, and he could leave when he wants to. The part where they're saying they're going in with coordinates with the terms of the Warner Brother agreement with Netflix, that's the thing that if they pull out of the deal, or if Netflix even has to pull out of the deal, Netflix or Warner Brothers has to pay them, or they pay Warner Brothers $5 billion. So there's basically almost this cancellation fee of this deal for $5 billion. But then, you have headlines saying war breaks out between Paramount and Netflix as Ted Sarandos declares, we have a deal done. So that's the CEO of Netflix trying to say, oh, no, the deal is done. The deal is done. The deal is not done, and it's far from done. Especially when you get stuff like this. Paramount promises to release 30 plus films annually if it acquires Warner Brothers, and saying we're going to satisfy the needs of the movie-going public. Now, that's hugely important because that means they're looking to protect not just the release of movies, keep their directors happy, keep the actors happy and stuff, but it's good news for the cinema chains as well. Especially when this information came out about Netflix's plan. Now, we heard Sarandos saying, I don't understand why the movies have to stay on the big screen for 45 days. This is what we've ended up hearing, while Sarandos didn't specify the length of the window that Netflix would strive for in a post-Netflix Warner Brothers world. Sources with knowledge of the situation say that the streaming boss has been pushing, wait to hear this, a 17-day exclusive theatrical window versus the 45-day window which the top 3 circuits crave. He's talking about taking the movies that should be on the big screen for a couple of months to earn as much money as possible to have them on the big screen for 2.5 weeks. Are you kidding me? That is literally what I said in my other video where it was like he seems to have this idea that put it out for one weekend, pull it and put it on Netflix, it's made its money. Are you kidding me? He clearly doesn't understand how these movies make money. So the idea that this guy is out there with this knowledge, and he would have to be explaining this, especially to directors and stuff, that yeah, our plan would probably be to put it out there on the big screen, only a handful of movies, so probably the bigger movies, so not the likes of a Weapons or a Sinners. Think of that. Weapons and Sinners came out, destroyed the box office, have made buttloads of money, are up for awards and all this crap. They wouldn't have had the success they had Netflix had them, because number one, they probably wouldn't have even put it on the big screen, but two, if they did, they would be pulling it probably within a couple of weeks to put it on Netflix. That is insane. So once the shareholders see this type of information, what Netflix's window plan is for movie releases compared to what Paramount are offering, what the money differences are compared to what Paramount is offering, this is far from done. And I do mean far from done. Never mind the regulatory crap that it still has to go through. The actual hostile takeover bid from Paramount directly to the shareholders. Yeah, this war has just begun. Battle lines have been drawn, and it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the next 10 days. So eyes and ears open, people. Let's get ready and hold on to your butts. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.